Okay, hi guys. This is going to be quite a long, rambly video, but it's what I want. Today I'm going to be talking about I really have become terrible at spelling because of relying on spell check. I do know how to spell though. So, getting over depression. I'm going to be very honest in this video about my feelings and everything. So, yeah, just relax and let me tell you how to overcome this terrible illness. In some instances, I mean, depression is different for everyone, and there are different levels, I think. There was a long time in my life when I was absolutely depressed, to the point where I had suicidal thoughts every day. This was around 2014 to 2015, part of 2016, so 2.5, almost 3 years of feeling like I wanted to kill myself every day. It's basically because I had an absolute cunt of a boss, who was just the worst person I've ever met in my life, and made my life incredibly hard, and I dreaded every day waking up, and I couldn't sleep at night because every night before work I would be struggling to get to sleep because I didn't want the day to end, because as soon as I closed my eyes, I would open them again and I'd be in this living hell, and I never want to face that ever again. She's now gone out of my life, and I refuse to ever talk to her or whatever. She just belittled you, and one minute she was your friend, the next minute she would be telling you how worthless you are. And other times I would just shudder at the sound of her voice coming around the corner, and it was a horrible voice. She was like a 53-year-old lesbian on steroids, but she wasn't lesbian. She was actually, she's been married 3 times, and I could see why. If I didn't kill myself, if married to her, I'd probably pour petrol on her and light her on fire, because that's what an absolute fucking parasite she was. And there was also this girl at work, and she would be stalking me, and she had a partner as well. She was obsessed with me, and it made me sick every time I saw her, because she was such a little fucking disgusting parasite of a human being. Wow, I needed to get that out.
Holy, thanks, nice lady. My voice is crazy with this brain already. I feel so much better, Mr. Medical Science type person.
So, yeah. It was really good to get that off my chest. Now I know why I was depressed for so fucking long. So yeah, in that kind of situation, your depression is hard to beat. But once I finally got rid of these people out of my life, they're buried in the forest somewhere, and I piss on their grave every day. Just kidding. They're out of my life now, so... And that instant in 2017 when I knew the pain was finally over, I was a new person. And you can see the trajectory of my videos on this channel, that I'm allowing myself to laugh. And I don't know, some of the videos, yeah, sure, they're not ASMR videos, but I just like to... It's like a presentation of my joy of being free of this pain. And my creativity has just exploded. And I didn't know why for such a long time. But now I know it was because I eliminated these terrible elements from my life. And that's the journey of life, is getting to a place where back to that girl that was obsessed with me, she was also in a managerial position, so I couldn't speak out against her, and I was a very shy person as well, and I had no interest in her anyway. I started off as a friend with her, consoling her because she was mistreated at work, but then she used that against me and became obsessed with me in every way, and it was just disgusting behaviour from a person, and it's fueled my hatred for most humans. This pen doesn't work. Yeah, so let's get down to it. So that was part of the reason. So that was part of the reason. I reckon people should be more honest in their videos. This is as honest as I can get. And it actually feels great talking about this stuff, getting this stuff out of my system. Also, I've been on a lot of medications. I don't know what to draw. I guess I'll draw those parasitic people. What am I saying? Sounds like the Vietnam War outside my window. So, what the fuck am I saying? So what I was getting at was, there's a lot of times in your life where things can be uncontrollable and you can't get out of that situation. But when you finally do, you feel invigorated with life. There's that scene in Fight Club where Tyler Durden gets that Korean or whatever worker at that 7-Eleven, let's say. He takes him out the back and puts a gun to his head and says, "What did you want to be?" And the way he felt after, and he didn't even have a loaded gun pointed to his head. And Tyler Durden said after the guy ran away, if he wasn't following his dreams, in 6 weeks he would be shot, basically. But Tyler Durden says, imagine how he feels Imagine tomorrow he'll eat a breakfast unlike any other you or me have ever tasted. I'm paraphrasing here. The sunlight will feel different on your face. It's a brilliant scene, it's a brilliant film, and
This is what it feels like to be over the fucking depression.
okay, so now the medication side of things. Quick thing, last night I was driving to the ocean. There were reports that Matt Damon and Chris Hemsworth were at Rottnest, so I could, see Rottnest. Just nice knowing that, some great actors are enjoying your part of the world. So I was driving to the coast, and then I saw the sun. This was at sunset, and the sun was fucking massive. The biggest I've ever seen it. It's like looking at the sun. Well, you don't look at the sun, but as you usually see it, and it was like magnified times 100. It was an otherworldly feel, and I'm sad that I didn't get to shoot it. But things like that I can enjoy now, because back in 2015 I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I wouldn't have seen the beauty in such things. And it goes a lot to meeting a friend of mine. I met this friend beginning of 2015, and he set me on a course, I think, that changed my life, changed my outlook on life. And he introduced me to LSD. It took him 6 months to get the fucking thing, but once I took it, I spoke to him about it in January 2015. We finally took LSD in October of 2015. So that was a long time of me just sitting there thinking about what amazing thing this drug could be. And then it turns out we took N-Bome instead, which has been accounted to a number of deaths. This was when all the deaths were happening. Some Australian guy had snorted it in Brazil and then had become paranoid and swam out in the ocean trying to get back to Australia or something. There was a lot of deaths, people jumping off of balconies thinking they could fly. But I was at that stage where I couldn't give a fuck what happened to me. I was willing to do anything to change my mind on anxiety and depression. I had spoken to psychiatrists and everything, and nothing helped. I was still depressed. I'd been on my 5th antidepressant and I was still depressed. So we did LSD 3 times. October, November, December of 2015, and it really opened my mind up to not just seeing the world in a different way, which Steve Jobs, the Apple logo, whatever it is, think differently. That is accounted to his LSD trips, that it finally allowed him to see the world in a different way. And it is so true. And I'm not condoning the use of LSD for depression. I mean, it is a wonderful thing, but it is also dangerous. It allowed me to see things in a different way. It allowed me to see myself, how I was as a person, how I was interacting, and always wondering why I was depressed, why I was always thinking negatively about everything. It was like, you know, in video games, you're in first person mode sometimes, and then you take LSD and you turn into the third person, if you know what I mean. That's an allegory. But yeah, that's how I felt, and I was seeing the world completely different to how I'd seen it before, and wondering why I was always sad and never found joy in anything. And then it led me on to... I wasn't a big marijuana smoker. I had just smoked it on and off in 2015, but 2016 I kind of treated myself. You know, every Saturday night I would smoke it and just enjoy life, and it taught me to learn to really find enjoy the aesthetics of art and film and music. It allows you to hear notes that you can't hear otherwise. I guess it's such an amazing drug, and I'm so ashamed that people aren't talking about it with the use of depression, because it has basically turned the point of my depression. And at one point, I went to another psychiatrist and he put me on Lexapro, Cifrol, Seroquel. Being filled up every time you go and saying nothing's working, the drugs aren't working, going back to him and saying that, and then just getting the response of, oh, well, you're taking A and B, let's put you on C, D, E, blah, blah, blah. Let's do that. And let's not really solve the problem, let's just mask it until you're a fucking zombie and can't think for yourself. So that was the path that I was going down. So I decided, why not start smoking pot? You know, it's a natural plant. Just don't smoke it all the time. Just smoke it when you're feeling down, when you need a good night's sleep. Just do it that way and see what happens. And I noticed that my sleep had improved tenfold. I no longer have trouble laying in bed for hours trying to get that perfect sleep. Even though the problems in my life that caused the insomnia are gone, I was still experiencing some insomnia because my body was that attuned to fearing that I wouldn't get to sleep, thinking about my breath, every breath, and controlling my breathing when I was trying to sleep, and thinking, if I don't breathe properly, I'll probably choke to death in my sleep. I no longer have those thoughts. It's just turned me into a much more happier person. And I'm saying to you, I've experienced a few paranoid times, but I've learned to deal with those. If I get anxiety attacks when I'm on pot, I will separate myself from the moment and find a place where I can just breathe in, breathe out, and be at peace. And this is my ex-boss, by the way, and she's on a rocket. She's going to be the first person to set foot on the sun. Isn't that great? So, where was I? Yeah, it's a perfectly fine drug, and haven't really had any paranoid episodes. It's allowed me to slow down my brain, my like anxiety attacks that I get, the racing thoughts. I used to be crazy on weekends. Would try to do things that would make me feel good, like garden or whatever, and all that I could think of, I'd have racing thoughts of, what's gonna happen the next time I see this fuckwit, and everything like that. Now I don't have those thoughts. I'm thinking about the next video that I can create, and what new ideas, what amazing work some musician did. How did they come up with that? What was the process of their thoughts in coming up with something like that? Simple stuff like that. It's just changed my thinking completely, and I am a much happier person because of it. I don't see any negative side effects. I'm able to still go about my day the next day, but I use it to sleep. I'm guessing this video is the very final of my antidepressant kind of saga, because I've learned to just be honest with yourself. Don't try and hide things that are troubling you, that are making you depressed. You need to bring them out into the open and conquer them. Everyone is on their own life's journey. It's not a race. I've stopped watching TV. I don't watch any of that shit anymore. I don't watch the news. I just watch YouTube, select the things that I want to see. I watch film, a lot of film, and I appreciate what people do to make these things come to life. That's me now. It's just transformed my life for the better. Change is always there. It takes time, it takes effort, but you will get there in the end. So that's my rant. I hope it was honest. I hope it's life-changing for you. I hope YouTube allows my videos to finally be seen by some fucking people. It just seems like sometimes my videos are stagnated because YouTube doesn't allow my videos to be seen. It's just kind of hurtful. But there's such an important message in this, and it is that depression is just a state of mind. I know I'm saying that, it's very easy. It's not a state of mind, I guess. You need chemicals to help fix this problem. You can't do it with just happy thoughts and over saying mantras thousands of times. It means nothing. Some people need chemical reactions to happen in order for them to feel better. And in my thought, I would love to actually, this would be my dream, but I'm not good at science, so I can't really come up with I can't pay attention to that stuff, but I would love to spend the rest of my life looking at ways of how to use things like cannabis, a natural occurring plant, on treating depression. and ways that it could be transformed into a pill or something. It doesn't have the negative side effects of every other antidepressant. It doesn't make you want to kill yourself. That's for one thing. It doesn't hinder your sleep. It doesn't turn you into a 300-pound monster, which, I've spoken about my weight increase and stuff like that. It's not because my diet has changed, it's because I'm taking medication. Last night I took a Seroquel to sleep. I don't take them often, but I just took it instead of marijuana. And the dreams that I had were horrific. One example is my car broke down or something, and I walked down. I was in this weird part of town, and I walked down this industrial sector, and this woman comes racing out, and I just say, "Oh, hi, do you know where the hell I am? My car is over there, I need to find my way out of here." And she said, "Oh, we've got a situation over here, there's burning, there's people who have been burnt, it's like an underground kind of refinery in the middle of the city. We need your help." And I went, "Sure, I'm not doing anything else." Even though I have no training in treating burns victims and stuff. So I followed her and put on the gear to go in there, and I saw people that were burnt and half of their bodies were missing, and they were just looking up at me, wishing they were dead, but they're still alive, just suffering in pain, and I went along with it until they said, "Okay, we're going to send you out and you've got to help these people, look at them and tell them they're going to die." And I just said, "I've got to go to the bathroom," and I hung up my stuff and ran the fuck out of there because I didn't want to deal with it. So that's kind of the insane dreams you can have on this crap. They don't make you feel better, they just destroy you. So, yeah, that is my long rambling video. I hope it makes up for a lot of things. Hope it explains why a lot of my videos are insane, but it's just me having a laugh, and laughter is the best medicine. I don't look at life now and think, "Oh, it's so what am I trying to say? The injustice is just mountainous, and it's so terrible. The president is a monster, and the world is going to hell." I don't think like that anymore. I look at the funny side of everything and laugh at things. I laugh at failures that I've had in my life. I don't think like a depressed zombie anymore. And that's what I hope. Sorry, this isn't really an ASMR video at all. I've been raising my voice and everything.
Ooh, thanks, Mr. Dr. Science type person. I guess, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So, Godspeed, and get better the right way. Thanks.